Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us at our webinar this afternoon, where we'll be talking about the future of healthcare, specialized in digital healthcare or precision medicine. Thank you so much. We have a fantastic session ahead with keynotes and panels. We'll be talking about the latest development and trends here in Taiwan and in Denmark, of course. So if you're joining in from Denmark, I think this is a very good morning to you at 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning here in Taipei. We are at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so hi there. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, thank you, thank you. Now, before I continue further into our session this afternoon, I have just two departments that I'd really like to thank. So the first one is definitely the GLORIA project under the Ministry of Science and Technology here in Taiwan. And secondly, most importantly, the Trade Council of Denmark here in Taipei. Thank you so much for making our events possible. We appreciate it, and thank you very much for that. So just a couple of housekeeping before we continue further. We have panel and keynote. We also have a link down below if you're looking, if you're watching this via YouTube. So if you have any questions or comments or would like to get engaged with our speakers, please do utilize the link down below on our YouTube channel and tell us about it with a couple of your personal details. So thank you so much. Now, I would like to take the liberty of basically introduce you to the GLORIA project under the Ministry of Science and Technology. So the project is aimed at bridging or minimizing the gap from the academic section and also from the industry. This is what we're trying to do. And we're trying to facilitate the startup ecosystem here in Taiwan as well. And then thirdly, perhaps most importantly, is to stimulate business opportunities and collaborations internationally. So the GLORIA project is towards the end of phase 1. At the moment, we have 20 different universities from Taiwan with specialties in every single one of them, which we'll introduce 3 just now. Soon we will disclose the phase 2 part of GLORIA project, and they will work in clusters. So if you have any questions or perhaps a particular section of technology development, whether it's in healthcare or others, please feel free to contact us as well, and we'll be more than happy to introduce. So I would like to introduce 3 universities from the GLORIA project. First one is the National Jiao Tong University. Now they are very well known for semiconductors, electronics and engineering, as well as computer science. Okay, so you might question, what does that have to do with our topic, right? Okay, so what they do is they utilize this technology capabilities and they work towards precision healthcare and biotechnology. And so they have cultivated a couple of very, very good startup companies who have caught many attentions within the startup ecosystem here, especially the VCs and CVCs. The second university I'd like to introduce is the Fengjia University. Now they are one of the younger members of GLORIA project, but they have already accumulated over 160 success stories when they collaborate with the industry. So it's quite a good result so far, I think. And one of their strengths is utilizing AI into smart manufacturing, autonomous vehicle, and their strong imaging recognition system are applied to healthcare and in related application. Now, last but not least, I have one more university to share, which is the Taipei Medical University, or otherwise known as TMU. So the university collaborates with 6 major hospitals here in Taipei, and with abundant clinical resources. They also collaborate with venture capital groups such as BE Capital, who then act as a bridge towards international collaborations and also introducing them, or the spin-off teams from the university to different venture capitals companies. Now, I have to mention a few faculties that they are very well known for, namely the cancer translational medicine, the neuroscience and biomedical devices, and of course that's not all. They have different faculties as well, which are very excellent. So that's all my housekeeping before we move into the actual program. Now, we will have a couple of keynotes, starting with the first one, keynote number 1. The speaker is Professor Beth Danish. She is the head of Lab of Welfare Technologies, Telehealth and Telerehabilitation at the Aalborg University of Denmark. Professor, are you here with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Professor, the floor is yours. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you so much, and thank you for inviting me. I will do my presentation in collaboration with my colleague, Charlotte Villadsen. Aalborg University has just been announced as being one of the best in Europe within engineering. So we are very proud about that, and we are also very good at combining medicine and engineering. Denmark, the capital is Copenhagen. We are a very little country here in the Nordic. We have a welfare state, and I think that's very important to understand in order to apply new technologies within the healthcare system. That means that access to the hospital care, home care, nursing in the municipalities is free, and elderly care is free as well. We have, here is the Danish healthcare system at 3 levels. We have 5 regions that are the ones that are running the hospitals, and we have 98 municipalities. Denmark has been very first movers on digitalization. And in 2012, we had the first national plan on telemedicine. And the next plan we had was from 16 to now. And we want the public sector to be very easy to use. And we want to provide high quality and security. Our strategy at the moment is to have coherence between, because we have an IT system in hospitals, we have in the municipalities, and we have by the GPs. But we want it on to be more smoothly about sharing data and also making patient care processes. So there is continuity for the patients. So Denmark is one of the 28 member states. The top 3 digitalized, public service are going digital. And we're very frequent users of digitalization. We have what we are very proud about is that we have a Danish e-health portal called Sundhed.dk. So you see the yellow card. So each citizen in Denmark have an individual number, so that everything is registered about you as a citizen from you're born until you die. You can go to this national e-health portal, where you can see your own electronic patient record, you can see prescriptions, you can book appointments, renew prescriptions, and get access to local systems, see when do we have an appointment at the hospital. So we have a lot of data, and we welcome for collaboration within this data, and also big data and AI. We call ourselves a telehealth nation, and here you can see a lot of different application areas, from COPD, cardiac patients, home-based wound treatment, home monitoring of pregnancy, etc. So we locked down here during the national of the COVID-19 in March, and we opened up again in May. We are partly locked down again because we see an increase. But what all this meant for telehealth was really it facilitated, like it's done around the world, using these telehealth solutions. This can be like my video doctors, video consultation with your GP, video consultation with hospital district nursing and healthcare nursing, virtual admissions to home, use of telepresence robots for children with lung diseases at home, etc. So why collaborate with Denmark? Well, Denmark as a test bed. When you you want to go here for collaboration, it's important that you ask yourself what kind of technology is it that you have. What do you want to do? Do you want to have it approved? Do you want to have it clinical tested? We often work very closely with the users because we think it's important in order to have the full impact of the technology in clinical practice. It's important that you understand the issues of the patients. And I think I will go to my colleague, Charlotte, who will because I think it was a bit short of times, we have 3 levels where you can collaborate with Denmark. Here at Healthcare Denmark, you can request a visit when you can travel again. There are the municipalities. Lars will come back to that, and then there are the regions and the hospital. But for Aalborg University, I would like Charlotte to take over and tell you about how you can collaborate with Aalborg Health Hub. Please,
Thank
Charlotte.
you, Birte. Thank you, Birte. Charlotte Villadsen. I'm a senior consultant at Aalborg University, also being a part of the daily management of AU Health Hub. AU Health Hub is a platform where we try to support researchers and students wanting to work within innovation and entrepreneurship. We match them with business developers. We have incubator facilities, workshops and different initiatives to sort of support this culture of being innovative and entrepreneurial. For you as external collaborators, you could also consider it an entrance to the university if you want to get in contact with specific researchers. Specifically, Birte, please, the next slide. What you get out of collaborating with us is that you as a company could get access to the latest research-based knowledge. You are also able to influence what is going to happen in the future if you collaborate with researchers, and also achieve some commercial knowledge of new business model and innovation. Working together with researchers at the university could also help facilitate ethical approvals if you are entering into projects where that is necessary. We have a very smooth system in Denmark as well, and you get, of course, access to competences and test environments at the university as well. We also want to collaborate externally in that we feel that we get a lot of inspiration from real life problems benefiting both our researchers and students. And we also want to include companies as sort of mentors and someone who can contribute also to the development of the newest research results at the university. I think that was...
Yeah, thank you, Charlotte. So I'm heading the Laboratory of Welfare Technologies. We work very internationally, and we work both with California and Japan, and we also hope to start collaboration with Taiwan. But our studies are very much into the clinical practice across from hospitals and to the homes of the patients. So please go and visit our lab. Here are some examples of how we have worked with a Japanese company. We did like a student project last fall. So it was a Japanese company who came and wanted to have their software tested in a Danish context in a healthcare center. So they provided the Fitbits and the tablets and the software, and we made an MOU between the partners. And then the students were testing it, and in fact they also came to Japan to present the results. And the outcome of this was that a scientific paper, and the Japanese company, His Nordic, had their software tested in a Danish context, so they could see what could be the next steps in order to get it to a next level of getting into the market in Denmark. Another example from Japan is, just to show you collaboration, is this new little Lovert social robot that we are testing with 3 nursing homes between Aalborg, Skive and Viborg. And here we've got national funding from the national health authorities. The Japanese company GLORIA are lending us 6 Loverts for free, and now we are testing it. And they would like to have it tested in a Nordic context so that they can use that to enter the European market. And we're doing this fall, and you can see the whole group here on your right-hand side. And what we get out of this is scientific papers, and of course, GLORIA will get feedback on how this Lovert can help people with mild dementia. So this is just some example of how we can collaborate. So please contact me or Charlotte for future collaboration. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Dennison. That's a very informative keynote. And thank you for sharing on how we can collaborate with the Danish companies and also the industry there. Thank you so much. So coming up with our keynote number 2, we have Mr. Lars Nord, who is the Chief Consultant of Quality and Innovation at the Elderly and Disability Administration at the Aalborg Municipality. Mr. Nord? Okay, I think you need to switch on your microphone. We can't hear you yet. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Hello,
I'm
Mr.
here
Nord.
now. I'm very sorry. This new system doesn't work with me, or it doesn't work with that. Sorry about that. I have to share my slides.
Yes, please.
Just try. Can you see that?
Okay, it's sharing. It's sharing. Something's happening here. Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Nord. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, my name is Lars Nord. I'm a senior consultant working in the municipality of Aalborg, primarily with innovation. My job is to connect people to each other, companies, universities, and people from the municipality, staff members, and also end users. Now, when we are presented for a new technology, we use what we call a living laboratory. If that's not a physical location, because our aim really is to test any new technology with the end users in their own homes or in nursing homes, and with the staff members giving services to the elderly and to people with disabilities. So why? We find it very important that the municipality cannot develop or produce any technologies by themselves. So you have to incorporate companies to join in the testing or co-development on new technologies. And what we have to realize today around the world and in Denmark as well is that the money is not rising in amounts that could take care of a growing elderly population. So we have to do other things, in another way than we used to do. What we are doing, this is an example, but this is really from a real living lab process. Now, what we're looking into is what are our needs and what functions do we need this new technology to have, and then looking for the company who might have this technology, and talking to the cooperating with the company in prototyping this technology. I'll give you 3 cases later on in my presentation. And then, of course, as I told you, we will make tests or pilots in nursing homes, and together with the university or university colleges, we'll make a evaluation plan. What our experience is that evaluation starts right away. The test or the pilot is starting. This would give us the best results in the final end. And what our experience is, this gives a higher rate of implementing in a larger scale these new technologies. When after the test and pilots, we'll prototype again, and hopefully we'll have a product release, and we will implement this technology. Involving end users is very important. Our experience is when we are having end users included in this process, we get a very, very full picture of the functions of this new technology. And it's quite funny, but elderly people are really keen on entering these projects, and we don't have any trouble finding citizens joining us in testing or piloting. It's also, important that involve healthcare professionals. If you only look at the technology, you have a big mistake, and you will do a big mistake, because we have to look at our workflow and our organization. Does this technology mean changing of workflow, changing of organization? And we know that healthcare staff is very good in processes of design, of test and implementation, and very important. A wide network secures a potential of project partners coming from both the public and private sector, and we do that by being quite open about our projects, and people are inviting themselves into the project because they are curious about what we are doing. So I just show you three technologies where we have that we have been working with in the Living Lab. We got a activity sensor. What we find is that people when they are secure and safe in their own home, they feel better and they can do a lot of things themselves. So we have put up some fault detectors in people's own home, so they can walk safely around their apartment, their home. And what we found really is that when they have this technology, it seems there's a tendency, at least, to people not falling that much anymore. They are walking safely around. They know they will be found if they fall, because the ELSA activity sensor will send an alarm to our staff members, and they will make a reaction quite rapidly. Also, video communication with the people having services like from home care. We found that that this could be very useful in guiding people to take the right medicine or take the medicine in right time. We find also that when people have to eat, we'll help them by guiding them through the screen and giving them the possibility to get the right nutrition and the right meals at the right time. And the last one is a digital integrated medicine solution that works together with the general practitioner at the hospital. We have a national medicine documentation in Denmark, and this will change people will come and change the medicine if changed by the general practitioner or the hospital. And this will provide the citizen with the right medicine on the right time every day, 24/7. What we have under the COVID-19 pandemic, we had some challenges because, we have some restrictions in these areas like nursing homes. Family couldn't visit the nursing homes. So that meant new tasks for the employees. This has meant in the first part of the pandemic that many Living Lab projects have been stopped. But now we can see there's a need for the launch of new digital opportunities in home care and in nursing homes. So from my point of view, we'll see this pandemic have given the boost to new digital technologies, especially in home care and home care nursing. And I believe we'll see a lot of new technologies in that field. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. North. That was a very practical example provided to us. I think it's always very pleasing to learn that the senior citizens are very open to try out new technologies and new programs. I think that's very good. And thank you so much for providing a very practical examples of how perhaps we could utilize COVID-19 as a penetration point towards the market here in Denmark or perhaps in Europe. Thank you so much for that. So coming up with keynote number 3, we are very pleased to introduce Mr. Peter Astrup, who is the center leader at the Test and Development Center at Viborg Municipality. Mr. Astrup?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I'm so glad to be able to visit you and to do my presentation for you today. I'll just share my screen. Let's see. How does that work?
Okay, it's coming up. Excellent. Thank you so much. The floor is yours. You have 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. So my name is Peter, and with me today I have Ida, who's an employee at the Test and Development Center. I'll give you a short presentation today of one of the tools that we are using when we are working together with companies. We're doing a lot of other stuff. We are, among other things, involved in the Lovett project that Birte presented earlier. But today, the Test and Development Center, we are a collaboration between a municipality and a regional hospital. So we work both within a municipal setting and within a hospital setting. So we're interested in collaborating with companies who can deliver on both these areas. Today, I'll give a presentation of how we use the concept of springboards to screen ideas, help companies and solutions on the way. We really focus on trying to create value across borders and create values and new insights to the companies, of course. So when you look at what is the basic problem that you face when you try to collaborate between health and social care sector and the private companies, and I'll just run this through. So when you look at the risk aversion or the focus on risk, then of course health and social care are very risk averse. Basically, you can say mistakes are potentially lethal. If you collaborate with a company that's not that has a solution that doesn't work well, your patients might actually die. On the other hand, you have private companies. They are also risk averse because mistakes are expensive. If you go down the wrong road, do the wrong collaboration, then you might actually end up spending a lot of time and a lot of money on something that doesn't provide you any return on investment. Which brings me to the second item here, the time horizon. So the health and social care sector, at least here in Denmark, have a very long time horizons. Decisions actually take a long time to fan out through the system. And of course, you can also ask, is the need for change actually that big? We all talk about the health and social care sector being challenged by the lack of hands, but I think that still the need for change is still limited. On the other hand, private companies that we work with, they have a very, very short time horizon. They are often startups, and of course, they need a very quick return on investment on their time and on their product. Then again, when you look at the systems perspective, health and social care sector, they are very systems thinking. I think that Lars before, he actually said it very, very nicely. You know, all new solutions should be integrated into existing systems, workflows, organizations, and of course the existing digital solutions. if they're not integrated into the workflows and digital solutions, well, the effect of new solutions being implemented is at best zero. So we really need to think about how can we do this effectively. For the private companies, and I think we saw that in the last hour, they are so creative. There are no limits to the possibilities that they see. Well, again, at least as I've written here, within the relatively limited field of knowledge that the company works within, because they have a solution, but they don't necessarily have a sense of what works and what systems should we integrate into, and what should how is the economy actually structured. And then we look at the last section here, new solutions. Well, you know, health and social care sector, they are relatively pessimistic when they look at new solutions, because they have limited economy, they have limited resources, and they've been presented with a lot of new solutions, and a lot of those aren't that fantastic. And the private companies, again, very optimistic. My product can, of course, solve all the problems in the world. So the Test and Development Center is we are trying to bridge this gap, because, of course, this produces a lot of complexity. How can we actually bridge the private companies and the health and social care sector? Now, that is one of the solutions, or one of the tools that we're using, that I'll present today. So, of course, there's a need to bridge the gap between the public sector and the private companies, to get user involvement, as Birte said, and developing new products and services. Of course, there isn't, you know, one solution to end all this. There is some good tools, and then there is very, very hard work, and a lot of it. And I'll introduce one such tool today, the Springboard. Basically, the Springboard, it's an idea taken directly from business development. I'm sure that some of you have participated in Springboards before, but we've tried to make it fit into the healthcare sector that we are working within, especially the public-private collaboration that I mentioned before. Basically, what we do is that we have a relatively simple setup. A company at a relatively early stage has the opportunity to pitch their idea, and we will select a group of people from either hospital or municipality. It could be people with insights into the to economy, into organization, or of course insights into the bedside help that is provided. We try to have three basic focus areas: the daily use, so applied as a way to find out if a given idea or a given solution is worth spending time on. You know, we actually ask the nurses, is this a good idea? Will it solve the job that you have? Next question is, of course, system integration. You know, to give the companies insights into what kind of system are we trying to sell into, what kind of system should we integrate to, and then again, the value creation. We actually ask, will this solution create more value than the solutions that we are already working with, or will the price of a new solution actually give us the benefit that we suspect it should have? So that is dollars versus efficiency, basically. When we start up Springboards, this is a schematic process that I've drawn up. Of course, some could be faster, some could be slower, but normally we'll do like a pre-analysis. What is the need for sparring and insights? Where is it most relevant? Do we actually have a product that is proven to be effective bedside? Well, then we should perhaps invite people and focus on the organizational aspects or the economy. So we try to identify the right people to attend this Springboard. We do them both virtually, and we also do them physically. That depends on the product and the way and the possibilities of actually attending in person. We also once in a while do like early presentations to a select group of people to give a very first early insights into the possibilities of collaborating. And we have the Springboard that is like the core, the essence of a process like this. 1 to 2 hours, and we try to get 360 degrees around the solution: daily use, system focus, value creation, and of course from our side we'll give actionable input to the company and really do a report that says we can do this, and it would be a great idea to go on with your project in this or in different kinds of ways. And then, of course, out of this, if the people that we've invited and the organizations that we're working with are interested in testing the product further, or collaborating with the company, then we can do shorter or longer collaborations based on the needs from the company and interest from the public sector. We do real-life tests in the municipality, pretty much like the stuff that Lars presented before. And of course, we also, at the moment, we are collaborating a lot with Swedish companies. So we do quite a lot of collaboration across borders. Which brings me to a couple of cases that I'd like to run through with you.
Mr.
The first case.
Mr. Astrup, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
We will need to wrap up very shortly.
I'll just present this one case, and it's 1.5 minutes. Is that okay?
Yes, of course. Thank you very much.
Great. So I'll just present the case of the DigiRehab. It's a very simple solution that helps care workers in the municipality to train digitally with the elderly in their own homes. They were really interested in how can our solution work within a Swedish context. We did a Springboard in Halmstad, Sweden, to focus on systems integration. How is the Swedish healthcare system integrated? Who's responsible for what? Who benefits? Who pays? And I just have a very short video of Nils Hoyer.
We are not getting the sound through, I'm afraid.
All right. Well, I can say one thing. He was really happy for it, and it really works for him. And they're trying to penetrate the Swedish market at the moment. I'll just skip the MyMers case. It's a VR case, and we have the CEO there telling a bit about that. I'll just skip that. So the last slide here, the concept of Springboards can create value across borders. We're really interested in working with companies from overseas. Can create a lot of value and insight to the companies. And of course, we can help to identify new and potential collaborators to interested companies. So if you're interested, you can contact us on my phone number, and my email address is right here. That was all for me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Astrup. That was very informative, and thank you so much for sharing your project, Springboard. I think soon, I'm sure you'll hear quite a few eager private companies or startups trying to reach you. As you've mentioned, they are very optimistic on their solutions, which is very good, actually. We love to see that. Thank you so much for your for sharing that. Thank you. Okay, so we have sort of concluded with our speakers from the Danish side. We were followed by a couple of speakers from Taiwan. So it is with great pleasure to introduce to you our fourth speaker, which is Professor Albert Yang, who is the Director of Digital Medicine Center at the National Yang-Ming University. Professor Yang, if you'd be so kind. Yes, if you'll be so kind to join in the camera here.
Yeah.
Should be sitting in the center.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
The floor is yours for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So hello, everyone. So it's my honor to be here to share some perspectives regarding the telemedicine during the pandemic. Okay, so far we know that COVID-19 has caused more than 46 million people being diagnosed with COVID-19 and more than 1 million people of death. So for these 21st century problems, we need to find a 21st century solution. And I believe that the solution is not this one. So this is mobile cabin hospital. So this is not quite friendly and maybe have some human rights issues. So maybe the telemedicine could be the COVID-19 game changer. And so but telemedicine is not a new idea. So remember more than 100 years ago, the Dr. Einthoven, when he invented the electrocardiogram machine, he actually come up with the idea that he can transmit the electrocardiogram signals via the telephone line. So he actually did this in 1906, which is the first case of telemedicine. And so now the telemedicine, we can incorporate with many new technologies to facilitate a broad range of interactions using different devices and modalities. For example, we can connect the providers between the different doctors, and we can make also connect the patients and doctors in different places. We can use smartphones, we can use the computers, tablets, and any kind of monitoring device. And we can, for the software, we can use the video conferencing, we can use the phone or secure messaging software. So the patient actually can stay at home, or he or she can come to the nearest hospital to access to the doctors in the medical center. So that's the idea of telemedicine. So maybe in the near future, the doctors can sit in front of the like these screens and many computer screens. So we can talk to patients, and we can also access to the many medical informations from different sources. So that is the central idea of telemedicine. In Taiwan, we actually collaborate with a company to develop devices which is capable of connecting many different medical imaging or the sensing devices. For example, in the left side, you can see there's conferencing devices with the 2 screens. So on the left screen, we can talk to patient via this monitor, and then on the right screen, we can access to the medical information. In the meantime, we can also connect for example, like like a fundus imaging or the skin imaging or even stethoscope with this telemedicine device. And maybe in the future, we can also adopt the extended reality technology to use the VR or AR to make this telemedicine more real. But more importantly, we can use this telemedicine to do the remote patient monitoring. So in Taiwan, there has been many companies using the semiconductor technology to divide many sensing devices. For example, the remote temperature sensing. This is very small temperature sensing chip that can easily attach to the patients, and so we can monitor patients' temperature in the real time. And also for the broader term of the telemedicine, for the telehealth, we can also use the ECG patch to do the remote cardiac monitoring, and we can use AI technology to analyze the rhythm in the real time and to do the real-time intervention. Also, because I'm a psychiatrist and also specialize in sleep medicine, so we are also thinking about to extend this sleep examination. Usually the examination is done in the hospital. Now we are going to use these different kind of wearable devices to do the home sleep monitoring. So this is happening in Taiwan now. But actually there are some challenges and barriers. For example, we need to make sure the identity of the patients via the screen, the video conferencing. And we need to also make sure this monitoring device can transmit the signal correctly through this telemedicine mechanism. Also, we need to solve the scheduling issues. We need to transfer the digital health records from different sites. sometimes we encounter the network-based problem. And probably the most important barrier is the physician licensing problems. So, and also the insurance problems. So that's the limitation we need to overcome in Taiwan. For example, we hear the regulation in Taiwan, I apologize in Chinese, but it actually states that the telemedicine can only apply to the remote areas in the mountain or the isolated islands and isolated regions. And during the COVID-19, our government actually loosens the regulations that allows doctors to see patients when they are during the quarantine period. So that's a great improvement, because from these loosening of regulations, the many hospitals in Taiwan actually sees patients when they are during the quarantine period and reduce the risk of exposure. And also, I think in the United States, there are some new novel development. For example, Uber has developed an Uber Health telepharmacy technology to deliver the medicine to the patients. Okay, so I think maybe for the telemedicine, we also need to implement the AI technologies, because many data will be transmitted through the telemedicine service. And if we have the AI models, then we can immediately help doctors to more efficiently to make a diagnosis and intervention. And so also for the public health perspective, we also need a platform to track the population-based the symptom data. For example, we have developed a platform to record the symptoms of infections like the fever, the headache, or the rhinitis, or the cough, nausea, vomiting, any kind of symptom results from the infectious disease. And these, the map can tell us that what is the distribution of this case in a spatial and a temporal manners. So I think that Taiwan has a very strong semiconductor technology. I think so in our campus, we actually hope that we are using this new technology to develop a novel model of the clinical service. So as I said, we need to transform in healthcare with the semiconductor technology. And because without semiconductor technology, none of these big companies would happen. So likewise, we also need the semiconductor technology to help healthcare industry to transform to the new era. So telemedicine is one of example. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Yang. Thank you very much. Okay, so that was very informative regarding the activities that Yangming University is currently engaging at. Thank you so much for mentioning that semiconductor is perhaps one of our strengths here in Taiwan. And as you mentioned, that there are challenges ahead in terms of telemedicine and medical care, but these challenges are also part of opportunities for the future collaborations between Taiwan and also Danish companies or other companies around the world. So thank you very much for that. Now, our fifth keynote speaker, which I'm very pleased to introduce, is our distinguished professor, Professor Jiang. He is the chair of the National Cheng-Kung University Hospital IT Office, and it's with great pleasure to introduce Professor Jiang. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay, thank you, David. Okay. So I hope that, yeah, sounds good.
Thank you. The floor is yours for 10 minutes. Thank you.
Okay, we got only 10 minutes, so I'll make my presentation very short. And it's been happy to be here to see all of those guys and introduce your research or whatever. I'm a computer scientist, and so I don't have to make too much think about medical research or something. But I would like to tell you about from the computer science perspective, how do we consider AI can help in the medical care, or how the the computer science can help in the COVID-19 pandemic during this area. And for sure, we know that in the past 4 years or 5 years, all of those VC companies, they realized that AI can be really good field to to boost up the whole healthcare application. So you can see from those curve and to see no matter in the United States or South South Asian or any other country among maybe Europe countries as well. So here is the things about, because we talk about the digital health and precision medicine. So this is the idea that came from the precision medicine from the ex-President Obama. And President Obama, he launched this program and let a lot of countries realize that this is the really end goal for that every physician, no matter in hospital or in healthcare division, or this, they can take advantage of this precision medicine and to do the personalized healthcare or even the preventive medicine as well. So following that, the United States, like British English or China even, they spend a lot of money and they put a lot of resource in the precision medicine initiative. And even though in Taiwan, our government still spend a lot of money in precision medicine. And I will make this short for in the AI language for precision medicine. It's about the data integration, and it's about how to integrate those data together. And it's about how to take advantage of the software and to do the clinical research or even do the data analytics. And further, and it's possible to do the predictive analysis during this time. And I would like to also to use two examples. This is Angelina effect. I'm sure that you heard her story. She's a brave woman, and she decided to make this brave move and decide and encourage a lot of American or Western country women to do the genetic testing. And also this is because of a lot of fundamental research and to prove that this is really helpful. And also the ex-president Jimmy Carter, he is also survived the cancer. And during his cancer period treatment, and a lot of physicians helped him to do the immune treatment. So he's very lucky to take advantage of the precision medicine and finally he's survived and make this cancer tumor shrink and even better right now. And besides that, we can see that from computer scientist perspective, a lot of healthcare data is growing up every day. And you can see that it's big and it's fast. And for those data set, it should take advantage of this data. However, a lot of scientists already warn the whole community, gotta be careful about this health data because this is something about ethic problem. This is something about our future, our health, and even the privacy issues. And also, how can we take advantage of this AI technology to improve our healthcare, and even how to make a lot of general public to get a benefit from the AI. And it can be seen, even though in the United States, the big medical problem so far is about the the basic fundamental, because the physician is too busy to take care of his or her patient. And also a lot of misdiagnosis came from because of doctor is busy, and even the medical professional, because they don't have enough time to double check or try check of those or even consider unnecessary treatment. And this is something about this. Even though our nearby, the South Korea, the country also mentioned about a lot of current their therapy, and they're not considered it's a fair or it's not considered proper treatment for a lot of patients so far. So this is something about the FDA just green light a lot of image application in the past 3 years, and that encourage startup company initiate, or that also encourages small and new AI company to launch their project to focus on image diagnosis, no matter it's an MRI, CT, or even PET image. A lot of companies already obtain the green light or even approved from the FDA. And here I will give a use case, only one case, to explain that our recently work about how to take advantage of this public radiologist. They used to be, this came from the Stanford University. They just opened a lot of chest X-ray and to open public. And more than 6,500 of patient, no, I'm sorry, 65,000 of patients' data that came from the Stanford University. And so they take advantage of this data, and the computer scientists, they realize this is a really good resource, and we can just develop an AI model and to help physicians or even help radiologists to read those medical chest array, because 1,000 or even tens of thousands image came from that, even though that's the whole afternoon, and a lot of image come out, but there's a lack of enough radiology to read that and to see through this. So this example came from Stanford. They designed an AI model to help a physician to, even though for that young physician, they don't have experience, but this model can help them to do this kind of easy pre-screen for this chart reading. And this is the case that I would like to mention about that. In light of this chest X-ray, so our team is able to organize the contest from the WHO. They host the first time that the COVID-19 competition, and our team is just developing an e-alert system to automatically detect the pneumonia from the chest X-ray. And furthermore, we also make this model available for COVID-19. And this is called the MediChecks. And you can think about this scenario that happened a couple of weeks ago and came from a country called Kuwait. Is a famous Arabic country. And the physician from Kuwait requests us, say, well, here's come from the second wave of the COVID-19. So hundreds or thousands of people, they feel that they probably just fever, but they just got panicked and went to hospital. They want hospital to check if they got COVID-19 or not. So we don't remember, we still remember the case from Italy during the first wave of the COVID-19. A lot of hospitals, they just terrible. And all of this physician and hospital, they just run out of their medical resource. Even though they're medical professionals, they just get tired of those people, and they just panic and run into the hospital. So they ask us if it's possible can develop an e-alert system. They just get 1 second and take a chest X-ray, and this AI system can tell them, well, you are very clear. You don't have to worry about that. So this is our system. And we collect almost 8,000 of different cases globally, and not also included Taiwan locally. So we developed this system and let the AI model training to be able to identify those you can see from this picture. The red part for this is very clear. This is some part that is a GGO. We call that very clear. It's possible the area for the pneumonia, and some part for that is even COVID-19 that's possible cases. And some part of that they can easily to fill out and to get rid of this panic situation like Kuwait. And here is the key point that I would like to mention about how we can success. The only key is just integrate the hospital and IT department together. And that would be a good idea for them. And this is a tool that you can just from that, they say that, and 30 years old physician who can enter the cardiologist field, that should be as smart as the 60 years old. You got AI and you got everything. So this is my talk, and thank you for your listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Zhang. Thank you. Yes, I think it's very important now that we integrate technology with our professional faculties, such as medicine or healthcare. So we have now concluded all our keynotes. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to once again remind you that should you wish to connect with our speakers today, there is a link down at the YouTube channel. Please do so. Use the link and let us know who you want to contact with, and we'll be more than happy to divert your inquiries to them. And please don't forget to click the subscribe button at our YouTube channel, and also make sure the bell icon is on so that you can receive all our upcoming contents in the near future. So moving forward, we have a panel session of which I would like to introduce to you our moderator for the session. It is Professor Deming Liu, who is the director of the Graduate Institute of Biomedical Informatics of the Taipei Medical University. Professor Liu, if you'd be so kind to join me on my right-hand side, thank you so much. So if you'd be so kind, I will introduce to you your panel speakers today. Sure. So we have Professor Danish is online with us. Hello, hi, Professor.
Hi, Professor Danish. Yeah.
We also have Mr. Noor.
Noor? Yeah,
Mr. Noor is down there. Hello.
Second one.
Mr. Astrup.
Yeah.
Okay, Peter. Hi. Yeah.
Hello. And I would like to sincerely invite Professor Yang to come on stage. Here in Taiwan, we are very lucky that we can still access a physical event. So we have all our speakers here on site. Luckily, we are not under lockdown or anything. And lastly but not least, we are very honored to have invited Professor Jiang to be also on our panel. Professor Jiang, if you'd be so kind to join us on stage.
Thank you, Debbie.
Okay, Professor Liu, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, first I'd like to thank you all the keynote speaker give us a very good presentation. The first speaker, Professor Danish, yeah, he introduced the AAU hub. I think it's very good for us in the future to connect with the Denmark. By the way, the Professor Danish also gives us 3 sections. One is presentation of the future version of our both sides. So that's a very good section. The second section is have the virtual roundtable. So in the future, maybe Taiwan and Denmark, we have the virtual roundtable. We can invite all the government, introduce all the academic guys, all the people from the hospital to have the roundtable. And the third, Professor Danish give us is we should give the in the future for the fundraising or give the any connection. That means we should create a network between Denmark and Taiwan. I think that's a very good idea. We should keep going. And the second, last, give us introduce the living lab. I think that's good for the future if we in industry with the people to like to biotech company have the established the connection with the Denmark, especially in Aalborg. And Peter introduced the Springboard. That's the very good idea. I first thing in the world. Yeah, maybe we can using the Springboard. Then if the idea, even in the school, the student, the faculty, or even the biotech company, they have the idea. Then we can start to establish the relationship. And also Professor Yang and Professor Zhang introduced the telehealth in Taiwan. I think we just start to understand both each other. Yes, and I do like some question for all the speaker. First is how's the Denmark and the European market perceive the solution and the application from Taiwan or Asia according to your previous experience? I think Professor Danielson have experience to accept to host the people from Japan, it's from Asia. Can you give us some ideas? Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for hosting it, and thank you for a very nice event here. And I think there's a lot of things. I think the webinar has shown that there are many opportunities. I think that there are a lot of opportunities here in Europe for you from Taiwan. I can see from Japan collaborating, but I think it's very important that we think in a value chain, because at the university we do science, but we need to go out and collaborate like with Aalborg municipality or with the test and developing center that Peter have. And that's also why we have established this AAU Health Hub that Charlotte is in front of. So please, Charlotte, if you want to add some comments to that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. As your experience, do you have some successful story or unsuccessful story? Yeah, can tell us, can share with us.
Well, I don't know if I should comment on what Birte just said, but we have seen both the examples that Birte gave us from coming from the academic world, but what we have also seen with also Asian collaborators, that there are a lot of different ways that we can collaborate on. For instance, we have seen also industry researchers coming to the university, settling down for a period where they work closely together with the researchers from university, and also get access to both university laboratories, but also get access to the network that we have among municipalities, regions, etc. So that's also a way of benefiting and carrying out a collaboration.
Okay, thank you. And any others?
I have one. I have one example from Japan as well. It was a pharmaceutical company, Chen, because we're doing a telemedicine project on cardiac home monitoring, and we have been testing in 2 phases with them, a new method for detecting worsening of symptoms in the home. So this has been very fruitful, and we are doing a scientific paper on the outcome of it now. So it helps this Japanese company to get clinical validation of their method, and because we are a little bit more our in Viborg where we work is a very good clinical site to do this test. So this was just a perfect match, and that was in Western Denmark, like Phoebe, who is behind this event as well, together with the Japanese Taiwan Computer Association. But this just, I think it's important that we also use the government facilities that would like to get a collaboration closure, and they can facilitate it. And I think I have more good examples of this, and also like Charlotte said, from our universities.
Okay, thank you. I think Professor Danielson is focused on the academic, and we also like to to understand more experience from Lars and Peter. Maybe from the Taiwan, we have some kind of biotech company contacts you and try to get into the market of the Denmark. Can you give us your experience?
Well, from our side, I think that there's your basic question was how do Denmark view technology from Asia or Taiwan, and I think when I'm speaking to nurses and other persons that I collaborate with, there's a tendency to have this when looking at solutions coming from Asia, they're very technology focused. You know, it's always amazing, fantastic technology and great ideas, great solutions, but it's more a question of having this idea of, wow, what can technology do? And when talking to nurses, they're like, yeah, that's fine, but do they actually solve a problem that I have? And I think that might be the difference between Asia and Denmark, is that we're more focused on, well, what is the problem, and what is the organizational context that this needs to work within, and then we'll see how can the technology work. So I think that, you know, focusing more on actually understanding the organizational context and the issues that you want to solve could be a great way to go. And that is what we're trying to address. Sometimes it works. Other times it's less functional. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Peter. I think I agree with you. Yeah, because in both countries we do have the different culture, we do have the different health policy, we have the different system. So maybe the first step is to understand more each other. So Professor Danish give the suggestion is very good. Yeah, we have to shape a virtual roundtable so we can invite all the experts come together. Yeah. So regarding the question, maybe Professor Yang can give some idea.
Yeah, I agree with the opinion that we should facilitate the communication between the clinician and the engineer and also scientists. For example, I'm a clinician and Professor Liu and Professor Zhang are computer scientists. So we need to talk more and to come up with an idea that can apply to the clinical scenario. I also think that more than that, we need to incorporate two additional a group of people areas. So for example, we need people from the regulatory side. So we need people specialized in the regulations and to tell us how to follow this regulation to make a successful product. And also we need the business people to tell to us how to come up with the successful business model. So I think these four group of people can work together and can come up with a very successful solutions. Yeah,
okay, thank you. Yeah, Professor Zhang.
Yeah, it's very interesting to understand that I'm totally agree with Professor Yang and Peter. It looks like the most difficult part or successful part for that any kinds of healthcare, you have to land in. We call that landing technology. You have to land into that real case, even though we call that bedside. So that wow, technology can just like a big shot. But what else? And what's then? So I totally agree that you have to really understand the real problem, or even though the very early beginning of that, where this problem came from. So I would also like to ask a question about in the Denmark side. It looks like we know that basically for academic area, they just do research. And for that hospital side or healthcare side, they are just real practical part. And the other side is industry. So how can you, for example, you came from the university, so where does that incentive came from? Is that incentive came from government or incentive came from the industry? Or where is that incentive came from and match that need? Maybe someone can answer this question for me.
Okay, Professor Danish?
Yes, I think my incentives for working in my field is Aalborg University is known for working with problem-based research and problem-based teaching. And also like Peter says, so we have a vision and a strategy that we want to solve problems. And please add Charlotte, but we want to do that together with the organizations around us. So we always go for trying to solve a problem. And we can't do it on our own. Of course, there are some basic research that needs to be done in a lab. We need to understand some basic structures, maybe within pain or some other areas. But otherwise, we want to do it in a value chain. And we have a vision on doing it together with Peter or with Lars. And like now, when we have this robot from Japan, you know, they built a robot in Japan, but they say it's a toy. But Lars and I, we went to Tokyo last year, and we thought, please comment, Lars, but we thought, can this be a good idea for patients with mild dementia? So we're trying to solve a problem. These patients are sitting often in nursing homes and get very introvert and don't have much quality of life. So can this social robots open up for them? So we're trying to solve like a problem. But Lars, you have a lot of experience.
Could I just add here, Birte? as Birte said, we focus on a basic research, but we also carry out a lot of applied research that can be be new solutions to different problems, as Birte said. And another major things that we actually do is also interdisciplinarity. You know, as you just said, we want to gather different kind of competences, because also in the innovation process, also based on research, you need to drag in different competences in order to achieve the final goal of having a new solution that could also be implemented at the end. So that's also some of the issues we really are focusing on at the AU Health Hub, gathering different competences along the commercialization path as well, both hospitals, regions, municipalities, companies, etc.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, maybe Peter can share with us.
Yeah, I actually also wanted to draw in the LOVE project, but I actually regarding your presentation, Lars, I think that your presentation really showed what it's all about, because the three projects that you showed us, the screens and the pill robot, the medication robots and stuff, that is not like, you know, super complicated wild science, but it's very, very basic solutions to problems in the real world. And what we find out is that, well, you know, just trying to implement these basic solutions is a lot of work, and it's hard. So you know, really starting from the top technological solutions, they take a long time to drizzle down to become you know, standard operating features of a health system. Just the screens, I know from Viborg, you know, they spent years on trying to implement them. It works now, and they're doing it big time. But it's been tough, and they are really thinking about how can we develop from here, and what new solutions could we use using this technology. I don't know if you have any thoughts, Lars.
Yeah, well, I could give from one of my cases, the medicine dispenser. This is a co-work between Sweden, who made the hardware, and Denmark, who made the software, and other participants. We developed this technology together with 9 other municipalities here in our region. But what we really looked into, first of all, was the need for our organization to be more safe in medication of our citizens. You know, we have a lot of reports every year on people having the wrong medicine at the wrong time, and we have to tell a national board about this. So it's really, when we see a development of this technology, we first of all looked into the need for the organization and the quality of the citizens, and that's really how we work. So. And Peter is totally right about the complications implementing new technology. It really takes time, but we have to be patient. This will work in the future, I'm sure. But look into the needs of the citizens. It could be very, very, as you told Peter, it could be very, very basic. And sometimes, you know, it could be plug and play, but sometimes it could be very complicated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I also like a question to Lars, because your living lab, I like to understand what's the method you use, or what's to encourage the elder person to join the project, because in a lot of project, if elder person involved in the project, he will be tired. He will be maybe next time you don't like to join. So can you give us how do you do that?
Yeah, this is what we do. We could, as an organization, find new technologies that could be very interesting to be tested. Then you have to involve people right from the start. And first of all, staff members who could be very important ambassadors for the new technology, and also let the staff members be the connection to the citizens. They usually know the citizens better than I do, and they could make the way into the citizens' life, and be quite open, communicate very, very easily to people about this. And first of all, it's really if the citizens, the elderly, doesn't see this as a need, if they doesn't see it as quite a simple technology. For instance, the sensors that we are putting on the walls, they don't have to think about it. They don't have to do anything. So for them, it could be a complex technology, but for them, it's just there, and that's very important. So I don't remember a technology project, where we didn't have enough citizens to test or pilot technologies, whether from the technologies are from Japan or the United States or Finland or whoever we've been working with.
Okay, thank you. And do you have any question to our?
Well,
yeah,
I'm just kind of curious about that. You probably answered the part of my question, because it really needs someone to bridge the gap between the technology developer and the really volunteer, because they are just volunteer to to accept this kind of medical trial or test. So it is very important to find someone who can speak the patient's language, or even make them comfortable about, well, this is going to help someone else, maybe not them, but the whole community. So I think that you catch the point. This is very important that I learned from you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Professor Young? Yeah.
Yeah. So at this moment, I don't want to share with some medical perspectives. So Taiwan has a very unique healthcare system. So we have already implemented the National Health Insurance Program since 1996. And the coverage is very high. So compared to the other countries, the Taiwan healthcare is not only has high quality, but we also is very affordable. So I think in the future, we really need new technology to facilitate the innovation of the healthcare. So we can implement this like any kind of the smart healthcare devices in the hospital, and that is the future, I think.
Okay, in my experience, I used to work in 3 different hospitals in Taiwan, and so I know the physician, their thinking is different with the IT guys, technical guys. So I don't know, is the same problem in Denmark? Yeah. Yep.
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I think we would like to highlight Aalborg University here because we have a very long tradition on working engineers and medicine doctors together. And I think that's really one of our strengths. And last week, our dean presented our new visions, and that will be digital health, and with the Center of Engineers and Doctors, and of course the interdisciplinary group as well. But I think we really have a big strength there. We even have a new medical education. So here we also try to put technology into having the doctors, from when they're born at the university.
Oh,
so I think that's very important to integrate. And also, like Charlotte said, this interdisciplinarity on a problem is very important. And collaboration with users, with Lars, with Peter, so that, because it is a value chain, we can't do with just academia or whatever. We need each other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, and for just for example here, I have Ida with me, and she's a health engineer. So basically studied at Aalborg University. I think Birte and Ida know each other a bit, and basically you're an engineer with a focus on developing products to the hospital sector. So that idea of trying to bridge the gap already in the during the education system is of course very important. And again, trying to go out to the hospital and actually talk to the physicians, talk to the nurses, and find out what is your issues, and then trying to scout what kinds of solutions can we find out there, and then trying to actually how can we, you need to think about how you can bridge the gap and speak the same language. It's very, very hard because the physicians and the nurses, they have a job, and that job is to actually take care of people.
Yep.
They're not interested in technology. It just needs to be there and it needs to work. So you need to go in there and try to find out how can we prove to them that the solution that we're coming with can actually solve a problem for them. Because as soon as you actually show them we can solve one of your problems, then there are no limits to the amount of time they can spend.
Yeah, right. They like to solve all the problem, right? Yeah. So it's so difficult to cooperate with the physicians. Yeah. How about Lars, in your experience, can you share something with us, Lars, from Aalborg municipality? Yeah, Lars.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you share?
I'm sorry.
Can you share your experience with us? I mean, the cooperation with the physician. Yeah. Oh, it's difficult.
Oh yeah, but yeah, you know, some of your let me take from your matchmaking program today. If I were shown those companies by myself, I really wouldn't know what to do with it. Just simply said, I needed to contact Birte or Peter or Charlotte or whoever to join in a program like that, because we're the providers of services for elderly and disabled in the municipalities. And if you get more clinical, you will be more in the hospital world or wherever, a general practitioner and so on. So just to be told about the regions and about the municipalities, what I would like to would be to see more cooperation between our university hospitals, our municipalities. I think it's needed nowadays to do that, and all in all, to be more open about projects and I often say, let's copy and steal from each other instead of hiding the good things away. I think that's a problem in the municipalities. It's quite hard to see what people are doing on innovation, but we should create a new forum for this. In Aalborg, we are working together with Copenhagen and Odense, Aarhus, Esbjerg, Randers, the 6 largest municipalities, and we've done that for 2 years now on innovation. And our aim is really to share innovations, and maybe not every municipality should invent or test or piloting. It might be Copenhagen on one project and Aalborg in another project. Maybe well, I just needed to say this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think it's almost ending of this meeting. I think thank you all the speakers give us very good presentation and give us a very good suggestion. Can you expect next time we have the virtual roundtable? How are we going to do? Yeah, maybe Professor Danish, Peter can give us some suggestion. Yeah. If we have the second time, yeah, the virtual roundtable next day, yeah.
Yes, and I think we will have to talk to the Invest in Denmark, both in Japan and here in Denmark. But I'm sure we will be able after. It's been a very interesting webinar, so I'm sure that we'll be able to do a very productive, maybe, and also to identify even more how to collaborate between Taiwan and Denmark. I see a lot of opportunities.
Okay, thank you, Peter.
Yeah, and from our side as well, I think that it could be, it might be interesting for us to invite the region as well, because they are really focusing on developing health technology, and of course, I represent one hospital, and it could be interesting to see if it would be relevant to involve the university hospital as well. And the region as such, because that would open up more areas of collaboration, and they have a very, very nice access to of course top clinicians and physicians. I know that you're doing exactly the same in the northern part of Denmark, so we might be able to do something there. I don't know, but it could be really interesting to see how can we develop further collaboration.
Okay, good. Professor?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I totally agree with that. That would be a good chance to see you guys again or your collaborator again.
Yeah, it's also very important to continue our discussion so we can take more time to share our stories and collaborations. Yeah.
Okay, so I think it's almost...
I just have to tell you, sorry, that I've been hosting 2 groups from Taiwan visiting Aalborg.
Oh, really?
So it's quite natural to continue that cooperation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah. So I think we got a very good and happy ending. So see you in the future, in the next time. Okay. Bye.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Yeah.
You take care.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
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 Okay, thank you so much for all our panel speakers, Professor Liu, Professor Dennison, Mr. Noor, Mr. Astrup, Professor Young, and also Professor Jiang. Thank you so much for participating. And a special thanks to all our partners, the Ministry of Science and Technology here in Taiwan, and also the Trade Council of Denmark of Taipei. Thank you very much for assisting. And of course, the Taipei Computer Association, COMPUTEX, InnoVEX, and TWIOTA. Thank you so much for participating at our events this afternoon. Thank you.